Hey guys, what's up? My name is Never Trust Team. You can call me Trust though. So I have recently been trying to get my dad and my little brother to play Helldivers. My dad just picked up a PlayStation 5 and my little brother usually plays League of Legends, Valorant, things like that. So I felt like maybe it'd be a good idea to just kind of break down the Warbonds that we have at the moment to kind of help guide newer players in learning what maybe you should unlock first. So, first of all, we have to understand you earn medals, which is the in-game currency for weapons and armors in these Warbonds. Now, Warbonds are battle passes that you have to pay for. You have 3 Warbonds that you have to pay for, and 1 that just comes with the game. So, just breaking them down first, we'll start with the Helldivers Mobilize. So as you can see, there is quite a lot of things to choose from. But don't worry, I know it looks overwhelming, but it's actually very well streamlined and very easy to understand. In fact, I think it's very intuitive. As you complete your missions, collect medals, or whether you randomly find them throughout the world, you'll be given a variety of options to choose from. Now, you will have to go through each individual block to unlock a new block. You'll only have this first block of items available. That contains the Punisher, some basic armors, a victory pose, and a new grenade and banner. These super credits we will go over later. So as you unlock your new grenade, your new armor, and helmet, once you've unlocked enough items, the next block will unlock. And then you will be able to proceed through this one as well, collecting items until you unlock the next block, and so on. But what is the difference in between each Warbond is what is really important. So, like I said, little bro, dad, you guys are starting out in the game. This is the free battle pass that comes with the game. And honestly, it's pretty solid. I'm not gonna lie. This Helldivers Mobilize Warbond is actually pretty solid. It will give you just enough tools to pretty much deal with any situation that you might find yourself in. It also gives you a pretty generous amount of utility when it comes to customizing your gameplay. There are a lot of things other than just armors. As you can see, there are different weapons, different grenades. You get items that will enhance your character in specific ways, and the super credit. Now, the super credit is a different kind of currency. You know, as I described earlier, you have your medals, but you also have the super credit. The super credit is used to purchase the other premium Warbonds, which are differentiated by the blue little designator here with the star. So once you earn enough super credits, you'll be able to buy a premium Warbond. Now each of these are 1,000 apiece. You can buy these super credits, or you can earn them by playing the game. It is obviously much faster just to buy this and then, buy your Warbonds. But like I said, if you don't feel so inclined, you're more than welcome just to play the game and unlock the Warbonds as you see fit. So, when you are starting the game, you might be wondering, okay, let's say I do want to get one of these Warbonds. Which one should I realistically be trying to get first that will help me and be the most useful in my Helldiver experience? Well, I'm glad you asked that. I think it's first important before just telling you, get this one or get that one. What is in each one specifically? What makes it unique? And why you might consider one over the other. So, Helldivers Mobilize, very solid. Overall, I would say a very well-rounded introduction for players. I think a lot of the things in this Warbond are pretty much universally appreciated. Maybe not necessarily loved or hailed as top of the line, but these are your basic journeyman tools, that will get you through whatever you're trying to accomplish. I would say that if you are trying to maximize the value of the earnings that you get from your missions, the frag grenade, the Punisher, the Redeemer, even the Defender are very, very good to start out with. As I mentioned, you have these utility items called boosters. Hellpod space optimization is almost universally taken on every single mission, regardless of whether you're fighting bugs, robots, whatever. Then you move on. Vitality enhancement allows you to get an extra hit or two depending on the circumstances. The Breaker Shotgun, very effective against the Tyranids, very effective against low-level light armored robots. Then we move on. The Scythe, not so great. You got a Recon Booster, a Liberator Penetrator, kind of lackluster. The Diligence Counter Sniper, along with the regular Diligence, still not fantastic. Probably going to be using something that you unlocked earlier. But the Stamina Enhancement, again, very, very good. Allows heavy armor users to at least keep up with the team a little bit better. Medium armor users feel like they're wearing light armor, and light armor users have no idea why people take this because they always have maxed out stamina and they really don't see a benefit from this. But you move down again, and as you're going down, you can unlock more premium currency, different armors that give you certain passives. That this makes you less easy to detect from enemies. This one up here will provide you resistance to explosives, which is very, very good. The Democracy Protects, giving you a 50% chance not to die. Very, very beginner friendly. The Bone Snapper armor, giving you 2 additional medic stims. Very, very good. It's just, like I said, at first look, you might be thinking to yourself, okay, this is the Warbond that comes with the game. It's not going to be very impactful. It's probably going to be lackluster. But as you go through it and really start to understand the game, you start to feel like, oh, actually, the Slugger is actually pretty good. You can 2-tap any of the Bile Spewers. Don't worry about what a Bile Spewer is, Dad. We'll get into that. You get onto the Breaker Spray and Pray. Very good for controlling bugs. You get the Plaz 1 Scorcher, which is very good at dealing with walkers and just kind of the heavy Devastator bots. So again, Helldivers Mobilize, I feel personally, very solid bond. If you want to dump a bunch of your medals that you earn from your missions into this one, that's perfectly acceptable. You're not going to be left up creek without a paddle if you just dump all your bonds into this one. You will be given tools to deal with what you need to deal with. Now, as we go into the premium Warbonds, it gets a little bit more complicated because, obviously you're paying money for these. You've grinded out for these. You spent your medals to get premium currency, which you could have been using to get different cosmetics. But, you wanted to try out premium Warbond is because you thought that, oh, well, if I have to pay money for these, well, then they're going to be way better than what comes with the game. So I'm going to kind of dive a little bit deeper into these And really, we'll see what you feel like you're going to need as a player individually. So starting with Steeled Veterans, you can see here, again, more weapons, poses for your victory stance, more armors, new grenades. It's kind of the same thing as the Warbond that you're given, but you only get 3, and the metals that you have to put into this Warbond in particular are more so. There's more of an inflated cost for when you are putting your metals into these Warbonds. Again, they still give you premium currency, so you're not losing all of your investment that you put into this. You get some back, but that is more of a general thing for each one. So, specifically the Steeled Veterans. You get the Liberator Concussive, the Senator, you get Steel Trooper, which is increased throwing range, increased throwing range, increased throwing range, the Incendiary Grenade, the SG-225 IE Breaker Incendiary, and the JAR 5 Dominator. Now, me personally, I don't really find much use in the Liberator Concussive. It does less damage than the gun that you're given in the beginning of the game. It's not very good at dealing with heavily armored enemies. It does push enemies back, which is cute. But when you're getting bombarded and swarmed and spewed on, pushing something back isn't as effective as killing it. The Senator is an interesting sidearm in which it has medium armor penetration, so every bullet that bounces off from the Liberator, the Senator will do half damage, maybe full damage if you get it in, a robot joint under the faceplate of the Nest Guardian. It can also deal with any basic enemy with 1, maybe 2 shots if you're off a little bit. But realistically, not my favorite choice because it does take a long time to reload, even though it is a very powerful hand cannon. The Incendiary Grenade, it does have a unique utility where it will lay fire on the ground, maybe for about 2 seconds, maybe 3. Very niche against the bugs, not at all effective against the bots. However, it does have a fuse time, so you can still use it to destroy bot fabricators, which is nice. But you can also just throw a regular grenade in there too, and it'll do the same exact thing without turning the entire ground into lava. And we all know that Helldivers are made out of straw and gasoline, so maybe not best to take fire around them. Speaking of fire, you have the Breaker Incendiary, which is very good against bugs. It just lays an entire line down of fire, and whatever it hits, it immediately catches ablaze, and you can pretty well rest assured that whatever is taking the bore of this gun is going to be hurting in the morning. But the real reason that you would be interested in this is for the JAR 5 Dominator. Medium armor penetration, jet-propelled cartridges that penetrate thick enemy armor. It can't destroy like hulks or tanks, but if you hit those certain targets in their heat sinks, then it will do just fine. Staggering a Hulk, damaging a tank, it's not going to stagger a tank. But using this, it'll kill whatever it's pointed at. That's the whole point of the JAR 5 Dominator. It does big damage, has a capacity of 15, so it's pretty nice. Fire rate of 250, you can just kind of lay into whatever you're trying to get rid of. And the recoil is pretty much, you can completely neglect the recoil if you're in first person. Moving on to the cutting edge Warbond, I feel like this is probably the most niche Warbond. You know, again, not trying to really influence how you interpret my description of the weapons or boosters or whatever, armors. But me, I feel like if you were to skip out on this one, you would not be missing too much. The sickle is a weapon that does technically have unlimited ammo. You could shoot this and never have to reload, but it is contingent on the fact that it also has a cooldown period if you use it to its overheated status. So if that is something that doesn't really bother you, it's a very precise weapon. You can shoot enemies from 100 meters away with its scope. You can technically use this as an assault rifle. You can also technically use it as a marksman rifle if you're accurate enough with it. It is a very versatile weapon. Again, unlimited ammo, very precise, very weak damage, 55. Light armor penetrating, again, recoil of 2, basically non-existent. Negligible, I would say. It comes with a localization confusion booster. Not my favorite. People say that it does reduce the amount of time that you have between enemy encounters. However, I don't really see that. Me personally. Maybe I haven't tested it enough, or I haven't ran this particular booster enough. Unimportant. The SG-8P Plasma Punisher is a energy grenade launcher, I would say. It does shoot balls of plasma, but it does have a fall off, and it also has a pretty heavy projectile, I would say. It arcs fairly early. The stun grenade, maybe if you're trying to set up some very cool bombardments or orbital strikes, could be very useful there. Not gonna save you if you need to destroy a bug hole or a bot factory, though. You're going to have to find some other method of dealing with those, because now your utility is to stun enemies rather than to destroy structures. You have the LAS-7 dagger, which is another laser beam weapon. Again, you have to be very precise. It does have a very tiny heat sink, so not exactly going to be shooting this off as much as you would be the laser scythe or even the sickle. And it only comes with 3 cartridges, or 3 ice sinks, or heat coils, or whatever it is that they're called. Only 3 of them. That's all you get. Then you have the Arc 12 Blitzer, which is a watered-down version of a stratagem called an Arc Thrower. It is pretty disappointing for being a last item in a premium Warbond. It has a very slow reload. It has, I would say, a pathetic amount of arcs that it targets towards. Maybe 3, maybe sometimes 4, depending if you're lucky, if enemies are clumped up together. Doesn't really deal with groups the same way that the Arc Thrower does. And speaking of the Arc Thrower, these armors in this Warbond in particular here, they do have a 95% resistance to arc damage. So maybe you do want to be just an electrical storm walking throughout the entire battlefield. You know, there is a Tesla tower that will shoot arcs onto you and your enemies, and you can take a couple of hits. You know, you can't walk through it. You still will definitely die. But being able to tank 1-2 extra hits from the arcs is pretty nice, especially if maybe you're running an entire team. Arc throwers and blitzer shots everywhere. And finally, we have the Democratic Detonation. Now, Democratic Detonation is the latest Warbond to come out. As you can see here, it comes with G123 Thermite. It comes with the Adjudicator Marksman Rifle, the R36 Eruptor, a grenade pistol, and an exploding crossbow. For me personally, I don't really feel like the G123 Thermite is working at the moment. I think maybe the damage on it is not implemented in the way that it should be, because you stick it to an enemy and it will burn, but it seems like they do not care. The explosion is also lackluster in the damage department. It is flashy, it does look cool when it explodes, but I would think that a 2,000 degree explosive would do a lot more damage than is what is represented in the game. The Adjudicator is more of a sniper rifle than a marksmanship rifle, I would say. It has a very high recoil. It has an okay ammo capacity. And if you decide that you want to switch from semi-automatic to full automatic, you will be wrestling with this gun, trying to hold it with both arms, basically. Just trying to get the recoil to be somewhat manageable. The R36 Eruptor, however, is a more well-rounded weapon, I would say. It has a low ammo capacity, granted, but all that is remedied by the fact that it does a massive AoE that just levels targets. I mean, Heavy Devastators, 2 shots. Brood Commanders, 2 shots. Hive Guardians, just immediately decimated with 1 shot to the face. Not to mention every little scavenger or raider or marauder just immediately devastated by the Eruptor. You get the Expert Extraction Pilot, which is a unique booster. And I think unique is probably the nicest I can be in describing this one. The grenade pistol will give you a lot of utility, but at the expense of personal and team safety. You'll find that it has a massive explosive radius, and the damage really only seems to affect you and your teammates rather than the enemies themselves. And the crossbow has, I would say, about the same explosive radius, but now you get 5 shots instead of 1 shot per reload. So now you are 5 times as effective as the grenade pistol user at clearing those crowds. So, with that somewhat, I would say, brief description of each of these Warbonds, how would I personally rate these in order to help other people? So with those descriptions out of the way, how would I rate these in terms of what you want to be unlocking first? Personally, I would say, starting with the Helldivers Mobilize, I would give this one a solid B. B right here. B to B plus, easily. Like I said, the armors are very versatile. You get one of the best secondaries in the game with the Redeemer. You get one of the best enhancements in the game with Vitality and Health Pod Space Optimization. You get the G16 Impact Grenade, which is universally praised by everyone who uses it, maybe except the player who likes to do bug missions and they run right up to the bug hole to try and close the bug hole, only to have a warrior jump out and they blow themselves up on the warrior. That person might not like this grenade. What else? Oh, the Scorcher. Easily an A tier weapon, without a doubt. The Breaker Spray and Pray, great against bugs. The Slugger, great against bugs and bots. This is basically a baby version of the Dominator, which I think is kind of the best way to describe most of these weapons. These are the baby versions of the main attractions for each individual Warbond. You know, Steeled Veterans, I would probably give an A tier. I know that I talked a lot of crap on the Liberator Concussive, a lot of crap on the Senator, and a lot of crap on the Incendiary items. But the Jar 5 Dominator is just that good. It is so good universally that it easily takes care of any bug problem you have, any bot problem you have. You just have to aim. Then moving on to the Cutting Edge, I would give Cutting Edge a C tier. I really don't feel like you need anything from this Warbond. This is more just kind of, if this is part of your personal appeal, if you like laser weapons, if you like arc resistant armor, if you want a stun grenade, there's nothing in here in particular that you'd be missing out on if you just skip this one altogether. And that leaves us with the Democratic Detonation, which is going to get my S tier. The R36 Eruptor is insane. It has so much utility. You can destroy bug holes from 100 meters away. You can destroy bot fabricators from 100 meters away. You can destroy any heavy unit you want. As long as you have the ammo, the Eruptor will take care of the problem. The crossbow is, like I said, very effective at closing bug holes, breaches, or bot drops if you're on a mission with a lot of Striders, a lot of Marauders. It works against the Devastators. It does have a trajectory drop-off, but these are explosive weapons. They will all have trajectory drop-off. And the grenade pistol itself is just a nice solid utility to have. So let's say you don't want to take the big heavy Eruptor with a low ammo count. Well, you can just slap on the pistol, and then from the Helldivers Mobilize, put on a Scorcher. There. You can close bot fabricators, and you can also destroy anything that gets in your way, while also running impact grenades to deal with Striders or clusters of Devastators. Now, obviously, as the game continues to progress, more Warbonds will be unlocked, and there will be other weapons to move or lower these certain Warbonds. But as of this moment in time, I really think that if you don't want to spend money, you'll be totally fine with Helldivers Mobilize. If you are going to spend money, get Democratic Detonation. The utility in these weapons are just too good to be overlooked. As for Steeled Veterans and Cutting Edge, they are useful in their own right, but Steeled Veterans needs you to get to the bottom tier of the War Pass in order to get the one good weapon that it has in it, whereas Cutting Edge really doesn't have something to my personal taste. Cutting Edge doesn't really have any weapons or armors or boosters or utilities that I look at and I go, I need this. You know, nowhere in this whole cluster of items do I look at that and go, if you don't have this, you cannot deal with X situation, Y situation, you know? All these weapons can be replaced by some other variant and you will do just fine. But yeah, that was my breakdown of the Warbonds, what I thought about them, and I hope it was useful and or helpful. And Dad, you know, like I said, if you are going to spend money, just immediately go out and buy Democratic Detonation. There's just so much good stuff in there. All the weapons are super effective against both sides, bugs and bots. And, I mean, it's just a lot of fun to use. The weapons are just fun to use. But until then, I love you. Bye, Dad. And thanks for watching this video. Random person that stumbles across this. I do appreciate you too. Don't worry. I'll be sure to let my dad know that you helped my view count in the YouTube algorithm. Thanks, man. You're a real one. Bye, guys. Bye-bye.